Dude, what up? It's Tanner, first edition of Wanopod, podcast talking about sports, things of that nature. I tried to ask people on my Jughead Instagram to say what they want to talk about, and I'm gonna try to get college football in there. It's one thing that cousin Jaden said, so I got some topics today that I wrote down. And first, I'm going to say and talk about my aspirations with this. And so basically, I just want to I guess, use this as a form to better and just gain more knowledge and gain more exposure in the world of knowing sports and analyzing and watching and things of that nature. Because I'm an avid writer, I write a lot. Go follow my Instagram page. I write about football, basketball, whatever that the time is about. And I just felt like this was a good way to expand. So, yeah. First edition today. Sorry if you hear some noise. I am in college, so kids tend to be very loud and don't have that much respect for other people, but it's okay. So, here's my phone. I got some topics that I have. And, so, I'm going to start the discussion with myself off talking about some college football. Now, Saturday, there was an MSU game, but I did not go because I knew we were going to blow Richmond out. But I will still talk about that game. So I sat in the dorm Saturday from about noon to like 11, and just sat there, watched games, analyzed, wrote about it, made 3 posts that day. So some games we're going to talk about. I'll also talk about the AP poll as well that came out after week 2 of football. But the games I'm going to be talking about are Colorado, obviously. Dion, come on, man, prime time. We'll talk about MSU. I watched Iowa State game, and I watched the Oregon versus Texas Tech game, which was very shocking, considering Texas Tech is not ranked, and now they are 0-2, but they are a very good team, sleeper team. So I'm going to start off talking about Michigan State because all I have is knowledge about how we destroyed the Richmond Spiders. Spartans, we got the dub 45-14 at home. Pretty early game. That's why I was so confused. QB Nathan Kim, let's go. Went 18 for 22, 292 yards, 3 touchdowns. Boy, Nathan Carter, he's tough. 19 carries, 111 yards, 3 touchdowns. And our top receiver was my boy Trey Mosley from Pontiac, Michigan, man. 5 receptions, 84 yards, and 1 touchdown. And I'll tell you about what the Spiders were able to get, but it wasn't much. Wickersham, 16 for 22, 102 yards, no touchdowns. Laughlin, 1 carry for 20 yards, so our run defense was giving them the work. And Jerry Garcia Jr. for the receiving had 4 receptions for 34 yards. I was talking with one of my friends today, and he was talking about how basically they scored due to, it was basically they didn't score any offensive points, so that's a plus for our defense. But at the same time, they 100% did score an offensive touchdown. I am so sorry. Sean Clark, receiver, with the 5-yard touchdown. That's what it was. Okay. My friend was telling me that one of the scores was on offense after they got a stop, and they had pretty good fielding position, so they were able to get the touchdown. And Jackson Hardy, the backup, tossed the touchdown to Sean Clark in crunch time. Didn't really mean much. But yeah, that's just a overall good win. I was still talking to my friend and he was embarrassed that we let up 14 points and we scored 45. And just like to see the boy Noah Kim come up, play big. And Noah Kim was named Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week with that stat line. And I'm pretty sure he is first in passing yards in the Big Ten right now. I saw a post earlier. One of the players posted, Tyrell Henry. He's first in, I think it's punt return yards or something along those lines. Just like in the way that we gotta get, I feel like we have to get him more involved because he's a very good receiver, but he's just as good as a punt returner. And yeah, so that's what I have to say about the Michigan State game. That's a good win. This week we gotta play Washington after whatever happened with Mel Tucker, man. Now we're having an interim head coach. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel going into Washington. Everyone said they were going to beat us. They were going to destroy us from the start. But now I don't even know how to feel going into this week. I still got confidence in the team. Somehow, some way, we got to get this W over Penix and that stacked receiving core that they have out there in Washington. Next, I'm going to talk about the Colorado game versus Nebraska, in which I did watch. I watched this game. In Colorado, it's shocking people, man. They're turning some heads because they're 2-0 now, ranked squad, currently number 18 in the AP. And just to begin the game, I wrote about this game. I can skim through, talk about it. I'll just talk about it. So, scoreless first quarter for this explosive Colorado offense. I don't know, Nebraska, Jeff Sims was just having so much trouble containing and controlling the ball. Multiple fumbles on his end, even the one where he couldn't even hand the ball off to his running back correctly. That's still his fault. He just has to, I don't know, his confidence, I know that's breaking him. Because, like, you're a starting quarterback in the Big Ten, and you can't even control the snap. I know he's hurt, but, yeah, scoreless first quarter. At the time, commentators, even I was questioning this explosive Colorado offense. Like, they can't even score. But Nebraska's defense did their part. I'm not going to lie. Nebraska has a very solid defense. Their front is good, secondary solid, but I feel like Colorado began to run away with the game after they got those Jeff Sims fumble. They get the ball, they score. Fumble again. They get the ball and they score. And at halftime, the score is 13-0. And it's just sad. I don't know. Colorado was up 13-0 at half. But I like how Sims, even after the two fumbles, was able to turn it around for himself. Yeah. So I got the summary right here. So Feely was able to score a field goal. And then Dawson had a nice pass, and a nice catch from Shadur in the back of the end zone. And then Feely scored another one to end the half. Yeah, I do remember that happening. And then to start the second half, when they had the ball, Jeff Sims broke off a nice 57-yard run. He's very, very athletic quarterback, man. I just felt like he got to work on just keeping that control of the ball. And yeah, oh man, Colorado, Xavier Weaver, that guy is making a name for himself out there in the Pac-12, and this guy is unstoppable. This guy is unstoppable. Over 100 yards, first 2 games. He's for sure becoming Shadur's #1 target because other teams want to put focus on Travis Hunter so much, even though he's truly a DB, but he's so talented that he can play both sides of the ball. The fact that other teams want to focus on him, it just opens everything up for Xavier Weaver. Jimmy Horn's also a nice receiver, and then Dawson, who came on the scene this game and had 2 touchdowns. And I just like that Colorado offense. They got Edwards in the backfield, Hankerson in the backfield. They got a nice well-rounded offense. I'm not going to lie to you. And I just like how Colorado's looking right now. They did end up getting the win 36-14, so that's a big confidence booster after having such a mediocre first half, in my opinion, and in the opinions of a lot of fans who are watching Deion's team. And even he said it himself, man. They gotta start somewhere. Their defense been stepping it up. Their run defense was a lot better this game than the first game against TCU. And they started to let up a little bit, but they ended up closing it out and ultimately getting the win over Nebraska. I don't even know how to feel for. You just got a guy like Jeff Sims, man. Such like a very athletic and he's gifted, talented quarterback. I just feel like you got to keep working on that. Just got to work on that control and the snap, because if you take away those 3 fumbles that were on his part, the game could be close, and you never know. But at the same time, everything happens for a reason. And yeah, Sims went 9 for 15, 106 yards, and he threw a pick. Man, he did throw a pick, man. They read that like a book. The pick he threw, I remember. I'm remembering it right now. Wow. Irvin on the ground for Nebraska. He was getting the yards. He had 17 carries for 74 yards. And they were doing the contrast to the first game where he only had like 7 carries the whole game. And in the first quarter, he had 7 carries. They need to continue to get him involved because he is a freight train and he's hard to break down regardless. And Kemp, Billy Kemp, solid receiver for Nebraska. They got to get him more involved because he knows how to make plays and he can make the right plays. He had sideline, toe tap, whatever, toe tap catches. He knows how to make a nice play. And for Colorado, Shadur, 31 for 42, 393 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dylan Edwards, 9 carries, 55 yards. He wasn't as explosive this game because Nebraska had such a good run defense. They were able to stop the run. And that man, Xavier Weaver, 10 receptions, 170 yards, and 1 touchdown. I know Jimmy Horn also had a solid game. Travis had 3 receptions for 73 yards. Jimmy Horn, 8 for 64. Dawson, 3 receptions, 41 yards, and 1 touchdown. And he had another touchdown on the end around. Yeah, this Colorado team's looking nice, man. Looking very nice. And I just want to see if they can keep climbing the ranks. They play Colorado State this week. I don't even know if I'm going to watch Michigan State play Washington, so I might stay in and watch those games again, get some more content out on Jughead. But yeah, that was a good game. And then after that game, I watched another game, Fox Sports. I like what they be doing. I watched Iowa versus Iowa State. Very defensive heavy rivalry game. Iowa is now ranked after that win. I wouldn't say it was all that. That. But yeah. So First quarter, Iowa got on the board. About 6 minutes left in the game with a field goal. And I like Rocco Beck for Iowa State. I just feel like his receivers just got to keep working on just making plays and catching the ball. Because as you see, Higgins in the latter half, end of the game, he started to cook. He's a big target, and if he just is able to high point the ball, it's gonna be hard to stop him. And this game was, even though the game was 10-0 with 14 minutes left in the second quarter, the turning point for Iowa was Sebastian Castro. He read the route like a book, like they said. He undercut the route, and as Beck was throwing the ball, he came out of nowhere and caught it and took it to the house for 6, and that made them go 17-0 with about 4:30 left in the half, and that was just a big play because after that, Iowa couldn't really score touchdowns because I know Peterson, Jazion Peterson, he got that touchdown early in the second quarter after he had a big run in the first quarter, very big run. He took them from inside their own to the red zone, and he ended up scoring a touchdown in the second. Shout out to him. He reposted my post on the game on Jughead Sports. Shout out to him. And yeah, Iowa State was able to score 3 to end the half. And in the third, neither team could really get it going offensively. Iowa's defense is just so fundamentally sound. Commentator kept saying that all eyes are on the ball. They were able to just keep their eyes on the ball and make plays, man. Cooper DeJean, he is a beast. He is a beast. Athletic freak. I've seen videos of him dunking in high school. He dunking on people. He's fundamentally sound too as a DB, safety, whatever you call him. He's tough. He's nice. Like the commentator said, don't throw to number 3, and I wouldn't do it either. He just makes plays. In the fourth quarter, it was all Iowa State scoring wise, and Contreras doing what he had to do. He got them a field goal early in the fourth. And late in the fourth is where Iowa State actually started to get something going, and Beck and Higgins started to clip. And late, under 3 minutes left in the game, Beck is able to hit and find Higgins for a 16-yard touchdown pass. And Higgins slowly became the top receiver throughout the game after Jalen Noel, he couldn't make some grabs. He dropped a few passes on this one drive that if he would have made those catches, and who knows what type of game it would have been. And yeah, I'm just saying, I saw a lot of drops from receivers, running backs, and anything. I saw a lot of drops. Yeah, I'm gonna just go to what I said at the end of the game. Yeah, so basically after that touchdown from Beck to Higgins, I thought that Iowa was gonna be able to somehow drain clock, but Iowa State was able to get another stop, and that had the fans roaring, and they had the momentum going with late in the game. But again, Iowa's defense is just so fundamentally sound, and they're just so good that they were able to get that last stop and ultimately win the rivalry game 20-13. Really underrated game, man. I know a lot of people probably, Iowa never has an offense. Well, they have Cade McNamara, he can manage the game, even though he did throw a pick. Now, he threw a pick, but he threw it to Jeremiah Cooper. I like Jeremiah Cooper. I like him. Jeremiah Cooper is a very good DB for Iowa State. Be watching out for him. He really looks sound, fundamentally sound. He makes the right plays. He can tackle, open field, whatever. I just like his game as well. Watch out for him. And stats, top stats, I'd say. K. McNamara, 12 for 22, 123 yards, and he threw a pick. Patterson, 10 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. And Lachey, 3 receptions for 58 yards, big tight end. And for Iowa State, Rocco Beck, 23 for 44, 203 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick. Cartevious Norton, 21 carries, 59 yards, and Higgins, 8 receptions for 95 yards and a touchdown. Be watching out for Higgins, man. I like his style of play. Big receiver, big frame. The thing, I feel like there was one play early. I know I'm rambling, where he had a smaller DB on him and he couldn't make the play. I'm telling you, if he makes those plays, he got him and Noel got to make those plays if they want to win games. And they're 1-1 currently. Yeah, so good game. Like to see Iowa ranked. Their defense, I'm telling you, defense. And they say defense, offense wins games, defense wins championships. And Iowa's defense is very sound and they can make plays. And everybody on that defense side of the ball can make a play. And yeah, so on to the next game. Talk about Oregon versus Texas Tech. Really good game. Really good game. And personally, knowing Oregon is ranked 13 still, they didn't move after AP. Texas Tech put up a really good fight. And that's all I got to say about this game, man. Bo Nix doing Bo Nix things, the veteran quarterback. And I know Tyler Shough wanted to get this back on his former team, but Shough was he was their highest. He had the most rushing yards for them. Shough had a good game. 24 for 40, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns, but those 3 picks are what I think cost them the game. He had 23 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. And his top receiver was Jerand Bradley, 5 receptions, 83 yards, and a touchdown. For Oregon, Bo Nix, 32 for 44, 359 yards, 2 TDs. Bo Nix again, but he had 9 carries, 46 yards, and his boy Troy Franklin, 6 receptions, 103 yards, and a touchdown. And as well, Bucky Urban, I like his game. Very shifty running back in the backfield. He can catch the ball. He makes plays in the open field, and yeah, I would consider this a comeback win for Oregon because they were down 2 scores at one point in this game. Yeah, so about 9:40 left in the game. Schultz finds Price in the end zone to go up 7-0. But the next play, Nix found Franklin for a 72-yard touchdown pass, wide and untouched on the play. Throw, pitch and catch, easy. And Tez Johnson was able to get the pass on his adopted brother. Tez Johnson is Bo Nix's adopted brother, and that's just a good story, a great story to see. Brothers playing on the field together, and Nix finding his brother for a touchdown. And they went up 15-7 after the 2-point conversion. But in the second, big boy, Tharp, man, he's big. He finally got his touchdown. He had one in the first, but they called it back due to a penalty on the offense. And early in the second, he got his TD back, but they couldn't get the 2-point conversion. And in the half, Camden Lewis, Oregon kicker, kicked the field goal to go up 18-13 heading to the half. So in the third, this is where things started to get interesting. So Schultz was able to get into the end zone with a 5-yard run wide. No one was there untouched. I remember that. And Texas Tech did all the scoring in the third quarter, and they ended up going up 27-18 after Jerand Bradley caught a TD pass from Schultz. And heading into the fourth, Oregon had good field position as I'm telling you, like 10, not even 15 seconds off the play clock. In the fourth quarter, Bucky Irvin had a 3-yard TD run, and the game was knotted down to 27-25, but Texas Tech still led. Lewis was able to kick a field goal to take the lead for Oregon. They lost that lead as Texas Tech was able to kick a field goal, and it was just back-to-back field goals, and another field goal for Oregon put them up 31-30. And Jeffrey Bassa they were driving downfield, Texas Tech was. Schultz tries to throw a pass, shorter pass. Bassa picks it off, runs it in, touchdown. But there's still hope because Texas Tech was able to get the ball back. But in the end zone, Schultz tries to throw up prayer, and Oregon picks him off for the third time this game. And yeah, Oregon gets the dub. They don't move up or down the poll. They stay at 13. Texas Tech is a good team, man. They dropped to 0-2. Yeah, they're a pretty solid squad, man. Shaw is a good. I know he wanted to get back with his former team, but Bo Nix outdid him. Bo Nix didn't throw any interceptions. There was that one play where Bo tried to throw to the end zone, and he got picked off. I'm not gonna lie. He got picked off by Dunlap, but they said he didn't control it on the way down. But I'm not gonna talk about that. That's just a good win for Oregon. Look to see them move higher on the AP poll. And after talking about those games that I was able to see for myself, I'm gonna just take a look and list off the AP poll and say my thoughts on it. So Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Florida State 3. Love you, Keon Coleman, man. Come back to Michigan State. Love to see him doing good over there. Texas 4, I like that, man. They got that dub over Bama. See, I was talking to my friend in after journalism class earlier, and he was talking about how he thought Bama was just gonna mop the floor with Texas, and I'm like, if Bama barely beat Texas last year with Bryce Young, no shade to Milroe, but he's not Bryce Young. He should still be able to operate, but I just knew that Texas was going to win this year. They still had Quinn Ewers, they still had their whole team, still got Worthy. I just like in Texas. 5, USC, Caleb, Ohio State, 6. They had a coming out party this week against Youngstown State. Marv went off, McCord starting to do good. I feel like they're going to expand it more for him, knowing that he's the sure starting quarterback now, no questions asked. Penn State looking really good. Big Ten. Feel like Penn State might pull the upset against Michigan when they play. I don't even want to talk about what they're going to do to us at Ford Field. Washington tough. Notre Dame moved up a spot. Let's go back up to Texas, moving up 7 spots after that one over Bama, man. And at 10 is Bama. They moved all the way down to 10. I'm going to go all the way down to 15. Tennessee, even though they got the dub, they moved down to 11. Utah stays at 12. Oregon 13. LSU 14. And Kansas State 15. Ole Miss, after that crazy game they had, I know I wanted to write about it, but I'm like, Instagram doesn't let me write about, like, it lets me write, but I gotta cut it down to the point where about those like big games, high scoring games, I literally just have to list off scoring without having any analysis. So sometimes I feel bad that I can't do those high scoring games. Like I was able to do that Colorado versus TCU game, but like you don't even want to know how much I had to cut out. Colorado at 18. Dang, man. North Carolina's 2-0, but they at 20 right now. I like Drake May. I like this game. Just want to see what they can do in the ACC, loaded ACC. Florida's 8, Duke, Clemson. We'll see about Clemson, man. They're not even. And talk about how I was watching Iowa, UCLA 24. My boy Dante Moore from the state of Michigan. Love to see him over there getting reps as a freshman, true freshman too, scoring touchdowns, doing what he's supposed to do. I feel like he's gonna win that start spot next year or this year, depending on whatever Chip Kelly has to say. But I feel like he's cut from the right cloth, man. He knows what to do. He's going to make the NFL. I feel like he's gonna win the Heisman. Being real, man, not just biased because he's from Michigan, but like real talk. Like he was a top QB prospect, and he's coming as a true freshman, leading touchdown drives. Like, come on, man. And then I'm rambling. I'm gonna move on to NBA stories. Now, this is my sport, but as you can see, I know a lot about football too. I'm gonna start this off by talking about how Kevin Porter Jr. was charged with felony assault and strangulation of his girlfriend. And I see that she has a fractured vertebra. Man, I don't know how to feel. KPJ, man, one of the bright young guys, crafty, knows how to play the game. I just always felt like he was a 2 guard, but when he got to Houston, they made him play the 1. I don't really have much to say about this topic other than I know Houston, I read the other day that Houston, they can't suspend him or anything because the NBA, they're going to take action and basically do what they need to do rather than trying to let his team try to make some decisions. So NBA is trying to come to a conclusion. And I don't know, man, these players in the league, man, I know you got money, I know you got fame, but like that don't discard you from the idea that like when you do wrong, you are going to face the consequences, man. And another story I have about basketball after that one is we're gonna talk about the FIBA World Cup, man. We didn't even medal this year, bro. That is very embarrassing. I already said this, man. In order to medal, we need leaders, man. I don't even feel like we got the. I feel for Noah Lyles, man. He made that statement, and the fact that he got all that backlash and we didn't win at all. You gotta give props where it's due, man. And I'm just not even gonna talk. We didn't even get bronze, man. We lost to Canada, man. Dylan Brooks dropped 39 points on us. Dylan Brooks actually had a good FIBA World Cup. If you look at his stats, true shooting percentage was either high 50s or high 60s, one of the two. And he averaged about 15 a game for Canada, which is very efficient. And like I like Dylan Brooks, man. I know he do all the trash talking, but like that's part of their game, man. If you want to get somebody hit and you ain't gonna do it by scoring, why not talk and play good defense? Like Dylan Brooks is one of the best perimeter defensive players in the NBA. And sure enough, he gonna talk. He gonna talk to talk. You see him, he got Luka thrown out of the game. Both of them got ejected. But who else in the NBA other than Draymond Green do you know going to go on the national stage playing against other countries, other nations, and get ejected and get the other team star player ejected while you're keeping your guys like Shea and RJ Barrett, who both can score you, give you 20 a game in the FIBA World Cup easily. You keep them on the court. And then you got Nikhil Alexander-Walker as well, man. Come on. I just like Dylan Brooks' energy, man. I know he's gonna fit on that Rockets team because I know there are a lot of young guys who like to talk and do this and that. I like he gonna fit. He gonna fit at the 3. He gonna guard the other team's best perimeter offensive player, whether it be a guard or wing. I don't know about the big. But I feel like he gonna make all of the defensive team again this year. I can't really project his stats because again, that's a young Rockets team. And even going back to KPJ, if he's suspended, man, that gives Armen Thompson the keys to the team because he's a point guard. KPJ, in my opinion, is a shooting guard. if you give Amen Thompson the keys to that squad, man, I feel like they gonna do something this year, man. Jalen Green, bro, that's my guy. Been watching him since he was in early high school, man. I've been watching high school basketball since I was about 9 years old. I'm 18 now, so I've seen all these guys grow up and become stars, this, that, and the third. This is a good one that I just read literally before tournament camera home. So the idea of load management in the NBA is so annoying to me, man. Why don't you just play? I know you want to rest. You got days in between games to rest. Why do you need extra rest while everybody else on the team is playing, man? You're not that fatigued, bro. It's only the stars too. But this is per Shams, and Shams and Woj be having the facts. Teams cannot rest two stars in the same game. That's great, man. That just brings back the fun of. I don't even think they should be allowed to rest players. Like, come on, bro. I remember this whole management is just taking over the league, bro. Like, remember when Chris Smoove always talk about load management, bro? That's my guy, Chris Smoove. I love you, man. And this just changes the perspective of the NBA, the idea of the NBA now, where a lot of guys just want to, I'm not gonna say no name, but the guys who always want to sit out for low major reasons. Like when I played basketball, and the only reason you sat out was if you was hurt or your grades wasn't up. And even when people was hurt, they would play. I feel like that's why a lot of people like college basketball, college football more. Because when you're coming up, you want to make it so bad that you're going to do whatever it takes. But when you get to that league, whatever, you get to that spot, you get to the top, a lot of people just chill. But that's the thing with me. I'm grinding. I want to make it to the top. When I get there, I don't want to stop at all. That's the thing about me. I know a lot of these players want to rest. I know this, that, and the third. But you in the best league in the world. I don't want to. Okay, no allows. You got us the FIBA World Cup, but the NBA is the best league in the world. The best league in the world. You make money, most fans. Even the NBA is starting to go around the entire globe. Basketball is a global sport, and you see a lot of guys who just grind and grind and grind to make it to the league. And that's the thing that annoys me too. Those privileged guys who they know they can get away, they know they can chill on the bench, but I like the idea that two of your stars cannot sit and rest. And I just like that idea because we're gonna have a star versus star matchup every night. It's just unless you play in a super team, it's gonna be at least one star a night against each other every game. And I don't like mediocre basketball, man. I like high intensity games, man. That's what I live for. In high school, man, I went to all the high intensity games. I wrote about them, posted them. I don't care how much likes I get because I know they're gonna come later. But I just like intensity, man. I just like when the energy is high and everybody is screaming. You can't get in the game. When you're in the game, you can't find a seat. You gotta stand. That's the type of games I like, and that's the type of games I want to see in the league. I don't want those blowout games. I want to see stars go head to head with other stars. And yeah, that's my take on the NBA not making 2 stars to rest per load management. Ooh. Now these are some personal questions. I'm gonna end off with NFL, but some NFL games. So today, this is my first ever pod. And I know people know I'm a basketball junkie. So I'm going to name off the top of my head, I haven't done this in over a year, my top 10 NBA players of all time. So number 1, let me write this down to make sure it makes sense in my head. Now I don't gotta do my top 5 is engraved in my head. So number 1 is Michael Jordan. No explanation needed. He's the greatest of all time. Greatest shooting guard of all time. 6 for 6 rings. I know y'all want to make that argument, but number 2 is LeBron. It's okay. They're the top 2. Whoever you want as your top player, it's okay. But those 2 are the top 2 basketball players to to ever touch like the ball ever. No LeBron's impact on the game. You don't need to explain it. Him or Jordan. Number 3, Kareem. Don't need to explain that either. Number 4, Magic. Come on, man. Magic. Number 5, Larry. Magic and Larry they revived the sport of basketball in the 80s, early 90s. But that's when Jordan started to take over. But you just got to be grateful for those two, man. The rivalry, those two guys' rivalry ever since college. And just got to be grateful for those guys who brought the game of basketball back to what it was once known as. And yeah, so that's my top 5. 1, MJ. 2, LeBron. 3, Kareem. 4, Magic Johnson. 5, Larry Bird. 6, Tim Duncan. Greatest power forward of all time. 5 chips. Come on, man. One of the greatest. He might be the greatest defensive player ever in basketball. Undisputed greatest power forward of all time. He could be 6'6" for rings too, like Jordan, but they lost to LeBron, man. That's why LeBron's so high, bro, on this list too. 7, Shaq. I know people will be like, where's Kobe? I believe that Shaq is greater than Kobe. I'm not gonna explain that. You just gotta deal with it. Guess who's at 8? Kobe Bryant. They're like right next to each other. Shaq and Kobe. Yeah. 8, 9. 9 for me is Hakeem Olajuwon. One of those guys who could also be higher on the list if you make that argument. Great, in my opinion, Hakeem Olajuwon. I think Hakeem top 3 big men of all time centers. And 10, Bill Russell or Will Chamberlain, whichever one, in your opinion. And then off the edge, it's like, yo, Steph Curry or KD. Curry and KD are always going to be back-to-back for me. And KD is my favorite player of all time. Curry had a better career than him thus far. That's my top 10. 1, Michael Jordan. 2, LeBron. 3, Kareem. 4, Magic. 5, Larry. 6, Tim Duncan. 7, Shaq. 8, Kobe. 9, Hakeem. 10, Bill Russell or Will. Ooh, another question for me. My favorite players of all time. I'm gonna do my top 3. So 1, Kevin Durant. If you know me, you know I strive to be Kevin Durant 2.0. I model my game after. I watch his highlights. I shoot like him. I'm built like him. People say I play like him. Kevin Durant's my favorite player ever, and nobody will ever take that off me. 2, Steph Curry. Shouldn't need an explanation either. The way he changed the game, 3-point king, greatest shooter to ever touch a basketball. In my opinion, Steph Curry is the greatest point guard to play basketball. And 3, it's got to be Michael Jordan, the GOAT. Before, I was a Kevin Durant fanatic. Michael Jordan was for sure my favorite basketball player, but we're not going to talk about that because he's not my favorite all time anymore. He's number 3. The fadeaway, I do that move a lot, but mine looks more like Kevin Durant's. But I just like the way that, I like the mentality, the winning mentality. I think I take that from these 3 right here. The idea that losing should not be an option. Throw 4 in there, gotta be like Kobe, somewhere like that. With that mentality, that my mentality where if you put in the work, you're going to succeed, and that's the same throughout anything in life. If you put in the work, what they say, if you're good, they're gonna find you. I was just watching that Shannon Sharp interviewing Stephen A. Smith the other day, and that struck me, and I've been thinking about this for years. If you're good, they're gonna find you. You don't gotta go to the top this, you don't gotta do this, but if you're good, they will find you. If you put in the work, me being a religious guy, I know that if you put in the work, trust God, you'll be successful. And that's just what I'm doing every day, putting in the work, grinding every week, trying to get this content out, and I just want to be one of the greats. in this sports journalism, sports analysis, whatever God has for me to do in the sports realm. Even if I start hooping again, I don't know. Whatever happens, I just want to be connected to sports for the rest of my life and be successful. Shout out my boy KLT4Q. Low key, want to be like you, fam. Last but not least, we are going to talk about the NFL. I'm not going to talk about like all the stats. But first, Lions won a game, 1-0 in the season. We beat the defending champ, Kansas City Chiefs. I don't care if they didn't have Kelsey. I don't care if they didn't have Chris Jones. But even though he coming back, I'm grateful that he is coming back the week after we play. And Kelsey also coming back soon too. But just prayers up for Kelsey, man, with that hyperextended knee. Hopefully he gets better. And yeah. Lions, great offensive game. Our offensive line is looking better than ever. Montgomery came in for Jamal. Perfect replacement. Then we got my boy. That's crazy. Look, I keep talking about my friend. We were talking earlier. We were walking, and they said, one of them said, we basically got rid of Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift for younger, better versions of them in Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and I like that comparison. Receiving wise, Amon-Ra, however y'all say it, I say Amon-Ra. I've been watching him since high school too. See, that's the thing about me. I've just always been a sports junkie, man. That's why I know whatever I do with this is gonna be good, because I never want to stop learning about sports. Amon-Ra with a really good game, receiving wise. I know the fantasy guys love that game. And yeah, we got the dub by, we edged out Patrick Mahomes. Kadarius Toney with all the drops. He must have been doing us a favor. And I like how he got on the internet and started tweeting at his boys. His previous team, the team that drafted him, the Giants, who got destroyed by the Cowboys. And I'm going to transition into that game. Good win for the Lions, though. We want to know. Looking good. Talk about the Cowboys, man. That defense. Dak didn't even have to throw for any touchdowns. He didn't throw any picks. Dak was talking about how he's not going to go for any picks like that or anything this season. And he ain't had to do that because his defense did all the work. 40-0. I'm not an handicapper, because I got Darren Waller on my fantasy team. And I just needed him to get 2 more points for me to possibly, not 2 more catches. Him or Brandon Cooks. Yeah, I'm down. Cooper Kupp out, IR. Christian Watson was out. And then Aaron Jones got injured mid-game as he was having a really good game for my running backs. I'm not even going to say much about the Cowboys, man. That defense is looking insane. You know how the fans always be like, this is our year? If that defense keep playing like that, anything possible for Dallas fans, man. That's a good deal for the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't know how to feel, man, for New York. Because that offensive line, man, Evan Neal, they running past them every time, not throwing shots at them. Just telling you what I saw. One of my friends is from New York, and he was saying that Evan got bricks his feet. And I was saying how Kadarius Toney got bricks his hands. I was watching that game, but I turned it off because it got ugly. It got ugly early. On to the next game. Eagles edge out the Patriots. That was Tom Brady's return. Had all the fans hype. And I didn't turn it on until about second half where Mac Jones started to tear it up. Mac started to tear it up. And I like how last year was an iffy second year. But this year, Mac looking like himself, looking like how he was looking at Bama. And that was even though the Eagles ended up getting that dub, that was just a good game for Bama fans, man. Seeing Devontae do good, seeing Jalen Hurts do good. Jalen didn't even have to do that much. I don't care about him only having 12 points in fantasy because they ended up getting a win. In the end, it's about getting a win. It don't matter. And it was just good to see all the Alabama guys embrace after the game, seeing Hurts, Mac Jones, Um, and Devontae Smith embraced after the game. That was just good to see. Just good to see that brotherhood that Bama builds. Start talking about how Burrow did. Same thing happened last year. I'm gonna blow this off. Browns destroyed the Bengals 24-3. Burrow just signed a big contract, but he couldn't capitalize. Only at 82 yards passing. I'm gonna say it was a fluke because last year versus the Steelers, what did he do? Three picks, 4 picks, and look where they ended up at the end of the season. So I'm gonna just rush this off the side, but if it continues, what do I say? T. Higgins couldn't get going. Zero fantasy points I saw. Jamar couldn't really do much. But that offense is explosive, so I know it's going to come around as time goes. Ravens get the dub. I was watching that. Zay Flowers looking good. Rookie. Odell really didn't do that much. But, yeah, Lamar, he, again, doesn't have to do that much. If you're running, talk about running backs, J.K. Dobbins, man, I feel bad for him, man. Prayers up. He always getting hurt first game of the season. Prayers up for him, man. Explosive running back out the backfield. Had a touchdown before he went down with injury. But yeah, Ravens looking solid. I would like to see them get Odell more involved next week, but that's a good win overall. Start running through these. Buccaneers get the dub over the Vikings. Very surprising. Baker Mayfield under center now. After Tom Brady retires for the second time. I saw that the Jets, people were trying to say that the Jets were going to try to get Tom after A-Rod got hurt, man. Ribs up to A-Rod towards Achilles out for the season. I know Garrett Wilson hurt, man, because they built that chemistry over the summer, putting in that work every day. Garrett Wilson projected to have, he might have led the league in receiving yards, bro, because Garrett Wilson is a very tough receiver. I like the fact that he was still able to make it work with Zach Wilson, who was his OG QB. Yeah, talk about how the Bucks got that win. Mike Evans, fantasy guy. I always end up having him on my team. I just like how he carried the load of my receivers this week. Chris Godwin things. A disappointment for me for them was Rachaad White. Didn't really do that much on the ground. And for the Vikings, Jay Jettis, you know he's going to do what he got to do. 150 yards receiving. How do you stop that? You can't stop it. You don't got to get in the end zone to get those fantasy points, man. That's the thing about Jets. He's going to get the catches. He's going to get the yards. Falcons beat the Panthers. I didn't really look much into this game, but that backfield of Bijan Robinson and Algier, be watching out for them this season, man, because I like it. Commanders beat the Cardinals. People saying the Cardinals, they counted them out before the season even started, but I like how their defense looked solid against the Commanders. Even though the Commanders got the 1-point win, I like how they got it. Going back to that Vikings game by Alexander Madison, iffy. I don't know how to feel. He did get a receiving touchdown, but I would just like to see them get him more involved as well, knowing that Dalvin Cook's gone now, so they gotta get him going. Jaguars beat the Colts, man. Like Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, they were writing them off. I already knew Calvin Ridley was gonna come back and be elite because he's an elite receiver, man. I'm telling you that Bama might be wide receiver because when he was on the team with Julio and he had 1,300 yards, now he got a younger quarterback who's still coming into himself. But Trevor Lawrence is going to be elite for years to come. Travis, thank you guys. I'm finished.
Thank you guys for watching. Had to cut it short a little bit, but many more to come in the future. And remember Wanopod. When we make it big one day, either I'm a writer, whatever. Just remember Wanopod. Thanks for watching, and on to the next. I don't know when I'm gonna post the next video, but I'm gonna try to at least get one out a week. And yeah, thanks. See you guys.